Hello, interwebs. My name is Jonathan. I'm here to talk to you today about life insurance. I know I said this channel is going to be about many different things. One of them being insurance, because after all, I am an insurance agent. This being my first podcast or episode or whatever you want to call it, uh, I'm going to talk about something I know a little more about, and that's like I said, that's going to be insurance. In this case, life insurance. There's many different types, and I know they confuse people. It's as with this as with any insurance need that I bring up in or that I talk about on these episodes or on these podcasts. I don't know why I keep calling them episodes. It's really weird. But anyway, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just hopefully teaching you or informing you of an insurable need that you have or may have and different ways that you can get that need covered and taken care of. In insurance, with insurance, life insurance, it helps protect your family in the time of need. In the untimely situation where you die. Uh, I hear a lot of people around my age and younger. I'm in my 30s. They say, "Oh, I'm young. I don't need life insurance right now. I can get it later. I can get it later." There's huge problems with that. One, you don't know when you're going to die. None of us came into this world with an expiration date stamped on us anywhere. We're all going to die. We know we're going to die, but we don't know when. Another problem with that is if you wait later, life insurance is a lot more expensive. It slowly goes up in price over the years, but as you get older, one, you're getting closer to death, so the insurance rates are going to go up. And two, over the years, you're most likely going to develop some kind of chronic illness, diabetes, heart disease, many different things that that will make your insurance rates go through the roof. So, and it's to help protect your family's financial well-being in the case of your untimely demise. I will be the first to say that it doesn't matter how good your financial plan is. If you die without life insurance, you just screwed your family's finances for years to come, because they're going to have to pay for your funeral. They're going to have to pay, even if you want to be cremated, that's still thousands of dollars to do that. If you want to be buried, it's tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, there's cheaper venues to do it, but yeah, your family's gonna want your final resting place, whether it be cremation or be in burial or whatnot. They're gonna want it to be nice. As they're gonna want to honor you. They're gonna want your final resting place to be nice, and they're not gonna do it the cheapest. And even the cheapest is still, in my area, the cheapest full funeral, so not cremation, is between $5,000 and $7,500. It's still very expensive. Now there are different types of life insurance, and they are good for different purposes. There's you got whole life, you got universal life, you got term life, and I hear this all the time with clients of mine. What's the difference? Why is term life so much cheaper than universal life, or so much cheaper than whole life? Well, because term life is for a term. It's the best description I can give is the difference between like renting a house or buying a house. Renting a house, you got to pay so much a month, and at the end of the rental contract, you can either move out or renew the contract. If you renew the contract, if you want to renew the contract and the landlord wants to go up on the rates, you don't have a choice but to renew for the higher rent cost. That's how term life is. You have the insurance for X amount of years most of the time. There is a term life called annual renewable term, and it renews every year. But for the most part, you can get term life. It's in multiple year increments, 10, 15, 20, whatever. And you have insurance. Let's say it's a 10-year term policy. You have insurance for 10 years, And then at the end of that 10 years, you can either renew it or it goes away. You don't have insurance anymore. You don't have that life insurance anymore. Term life, in my opinion, is good for, and many other insurance, I say my opinion, many other insurance agents and advisors, for getting large dollar amounts of insurance to cover specific needs, large dollar needs that your family would have if you died. So, let's say you have kids and you want to send them to college. Well, if you die, your spouse's income by itself may not be enough to provide for that. So you get an insurance policy of $250, $300, $400, $500,000 to make sure that if you die, and it's let's say a 20-year term policy, to make sure if you die within the next 20 years, your kids will still be able to go to college because you will have provided that money for that. Or you're buying you and your spouse are buying your first house or buying a house. Well, and you're the breadwinner, so you're the one that makes a majority of the income. So if something were to happen to you, your spouse would lose your house. They would not be able to afford it. So you get a 15 or 30 year decreasing term policy that covers, in the amount of, or exceeding the amount of the house just by a little. And that way, if something were to happen to you, your spouse is going to get enough money to cover the mortgage, to pay it off. And that way, your family doesn't have to lose their house if something happens to you. Or you can get them to cover vehicles, and it just depends on the insurance company and that you go through and whatnot. You can get it for multiple different things, but that's what term is for. It's for getting large amounts of insurance to cover specific things, or even general things, just to replace your income. If you die within the years of you making the majority, your prime earning years. Whole life is more for getting your final expense needs taken care of, getting your burial, getting your cremation, whatever you're going to do. And you get a smaller dollar amount. It's going to be 10, 15, 20, 50,000, usually 50,000 or less. Not all the time, but usually. And you get them. You get that lower dollar amount. I say 50. Actually, it's more 30,000 or less in whole life, and you get that dollar amount to take care of just that, your final needs. It's not to take care of a house note if something were to happen to you, or to send your kids to college. It's to take care of your final needs. It's whole life. It's permanent insurance as long as as long as the premium's paid, and it will never expire. In most cases, there are some cases where it does after like 100 and something years, but very, very seldom. And then there's universal life. Universal life, much like whole life, it's more permanent insurance, and is also and again, like whole life, it's a little more of an investment type material. But it's even more of an investment than whole life is, because it's usually connected to some kind of index fund, and both whole life and universal life build up a cash value as well as their face value, and that cash value is affected by, on whole life, is affected by the interest rate that's on that whole life policy. It's always going, and it's built into the policy, and it'll have a table in there telling you, cash values. It also tell you that those cash values are not guaranteed and whatnot, but it shows you different levels of after this many years, you're going to have this much cash value built up, and that's actually built off of an interest rate that is in the policy itself. Universal life is usually on an indexed fund. It's usually attached to some kind of index fund. It changes with the markets. It changes with whatever it's indexed to. I say markets like it's indexed. It's got to be indexed to the stock market. It doesn't have to be. It could be indexed to different things, but its cash values are more volatile. But it's more of an investment type life insurance than whole life is. Whole life is, again, for your burial. you're not really worried about the cash value of it. Universal life, you're hoping that cash value builds up, but also it's at least you still have that life insurance to take care of you if you die. No matter what, you need life insurance. You need it for your burial. If you don't have it and you're 18 or older, go get it. I know if you're 18, you're like, I don't need insurance. I'm 18. I'm not going to die. You could die tomorrow. Go get it. And I will tell you, as an insurance agent, there is nothing more disheartening than getting a call from a family who lost their child, their 18 or 19-year-old child, or lost their loved one and didn't have insurance. I've gotten that call. It's a horrible call. I tried to talk the family into getting insurance on that person. Tried to talk that person in, oh, I'm young. And then I get the call that he passed away. That is the worst feeling in the world. Because I could have, I feel like I should have done more to get them to get, I can't force them to get life insurance, but now their family has to take care of the final expenses. They don't have insurance. Now they have to deal with this heart-wrenching situation of losing a loved one and then trying to figure out how they're going to pay for it at the same time. Get life insurance. Go out there. Especially if you're 18, 19, 20 years, you're in your 20, 18, 19, you're in your 20s, whatever. It's cheap. Go get it while it's cheap. This is the cheapest it's ever going to be that you can get it on your own anyway. For people with kids, get insurance on your kids. You can't say, oh, my kids are going to outlive me. You don't know that. We have childhood cancers, and kids die in accidents all the time. It's sad, but it's true. Don't let a sad situation like that be made worse by the fact that you lost your loved one, you lost your child, and now you got to figure out how you're going to pay for that funeral, because that funeral will cost just as much, sometimes more, than it would for an adult. I know it's nothing you want to think about as a parent. I'm not a parent, and I don't want to think about it. I have nieces and a nephew from my two sisters, and I don't know what I would do if I lost one of them. As a Taekwondo, I've said before, I'm a Taekwondo instructor. As a Taekwondo instructor, I don't know what I'd do if I typically teach the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. I don't know what I'd do if one of those children died. It would rip my heart out. But it would rip my heart out even more knowing that I didn't help protect their families by making sure that they got life insurance to take care of their children's final expenses if something, God forbid, if something were to happen to them. Protect your family. Protect yourself. Get life insurance. If you're in Texas, you don't know where else to, you don't know anybody else, or you don't have a particular insurance agent you want to go to or whatnot, contact me. Just go Google your area, insurance agents in your area of Texas or your area of the United States or your area of the world, and get insurance. Whatever it takes, get it. Now, I'm not saying just get the first policy you come across, shop around, make sure you get the life insurance that covers your needs. Make sure you get what your family needs, and not have an insurance agent. I know there's some out there that will sell you life insurance, more life insurance than you need, just because it gets them the commission. That's terrible. Insurance agents out there, if you're watching this, do what's in the best interest of your client, not the best interest of your pocketbook. It pisses me off to no end to see agents that all they care about is their commission, is their profit. You should be caring about that family. You should be caring about those clients. That family should become family to you. almost like a second. I mean, I've had customers invite me to their house for Easter because they knew, I'm single, I don't have a wife or kids or anything like that, and they knew I wasn't going to be doing anything for I was going to be at home alone for Easter, and they're like, why don't you come to our house for Easter? And that makes me feel great. That makes me know that I'm doing a good job with my customers, with my clients. They feel as if I'm a friend, as if I am family, because they know I'm going to take care of them. That's what you should strive for as a insurance agent, as a human being, honestly. So take care of your clients, and people out there who are not insurance, find an insurance agent that makes you feel, or that you know is taking care of your needs and not taking care of their own. As I have said in previous podcasts, that I'm going to try to end each episode, each podcast, with a good story. I found one on Today.com, which is the website for the Today Show. It's about a girl fighting cancer. She received a famous, as the title of the article says, girl fighting cancer receives a famous and furry hospital visitor. She's a 12-year-old from, I believe, Pennsylvania. Her name's Brooke Mulford. She has stage 4 neuroblastoma, which is obviously cancer of the nervous system. She's been fighting it for years. But she really wanted to see the movie A Dog's Purpose that came out back in January. She unfortunately had to have a procedure and I don't know if she still is in inpatient care at the Children's Hospital of Pennsylvania. Sorry, I keep looking over I've got the notes for it over here on another screen on my computer. And a family friend posted on Facebook that they wanted to get a special viewing for her in her hospital room that was legal. I mean, obviously, as soon as she posted that people were, well, I can get you, we can get bootleg copies, whatnot. Well, it got back to the person who is the screenwriter, and all the names to the story are on the article. I highly recommend you go read it. It's very good, very heartwarming story. But the screenwriter for the movie and whose spouse is also the writer of the book that the movie is based off of, and they got her a legal private viewing of the movie in her hospital room. That was good. And the dog trainer that trained the dog for the golden retriever in the movie made arrangements to bring the dog from the movie to her, and the girl said it was just the best day ever. Brooke is the girl, and she just, I mean, it was a great thing. You can see this whole story on today.com/parents. Look for the article titled "Girl Fighting Cancer Receives a Famous and Furry Hospital Visitor." Thank you for Today.com and the Today Show for making this story so accessible to the rest of the world. We need more stories like this, and I'm very happy to see the news media in any way, and representing stories like this. And if you want to find out more about Brooke Mulford, there's a Facebook page up for her called Blessings for Brooke. You can go to facebook.com/Blessings for Brooke for more information on her. Have a great day, and tell somebody that you know something that you love about them or that you like about them.